हाँ सर, ये रिसोर्स पर्सन का चार्ट दिया है ना, तो उसमें उनका सब्जेक्ट नहीं दिया, कौन से सब्जेक्ट में वो गाइडेंस करने वाले।
मैं बताता हूँ रोड नंबर 69 ना आपको बताता हूँ। आप मुझे पर्सनल कॉल कीजिए, मैं बताता
नहीं नहीं नहीं, ये जो चार्ट दिया है ना अपना, एक वीक का, 1 वीक का,
हूँ।
तो उसमें जो गाइडेंस करने वाले उनका सब्जेक्ट नहीं दिया है सबका, सबका जो रिसोर्स पर्सन है।
रिसोर्स पर्सन की टॉपिक ना।
हाँ टॉपिक, तो उस पर
सर
थोड़ा
अभी
आगे
तक
बढ़
रिसोर्स
सकते।
पर्सन ने अगर 11th आवर पर जो भी है आप पीपीटी शेयर करने के बाद वो खुद बता देते
यस
ना
सर, ओके
आपकी।
ओके ठीक।
जो भी वॉलेंटियर कमेटी मेंबर है, जैसे रोल नंबर 26 को माइक्रो टीचिंग की लिंक कलेक्ट करना है, तो आपने क्या करना है, रोल नंबर 46 आपका मेल आईडी और आपका नाम और आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऐसा मैसेज टाइप करके आपको ग्रुप में शेयर करना है, क्योंकि पार्टिसिपेंट को समझ में आए कि आपके पास माइक्रो टीचिंग की लिंक यही पार्टिसिपेंट के पास, वॉलंटियर मेंबर के पास भेजना है। और रोल नंबर 28 मैम, आपकी असाइन ड्यूटी है, आपको बायोडेटा रीडिंग करना है। जैसे मैंने आज अनाउंसमेंट किया था कि रोल नंबर किस किस की आज बायोडाटा रीडिंग है और कौन पार्टिसिपेंट आज बायोडाटा रीड करेंगे, वो टॉप थैंक देंगे। उसके बाद समरी रिपोर्ट कौन करने वाला है, यही आपको मॉनिटाइज करना है।
यस सर। यस
हम्म।
सर।
मैंने आपको
यस सर।
पार्टिसिपेंट के रोल नंबर भेजे हैं, आप उनको कॉल
यस सर।
करके बताइए उनकी ड्यूटीज, क्योंकि किस पार्टिसिपेंट
यस
को
सर।
पता रहता नहीं। तो आप उनको कॉल कीजिए और बताइए कि आज रोल नंबर 7, जैसे कि आज रोल नंबर 7 को मैंने कॉल किया तो वो बोल रहे कि थोड़ा मैं ट्रैवल्स में हूँ और मुझे ज्वाइन होने के लिए थोड़ा सा तकलीफ हो रही।
यस सर।
तो आप प्रिपेयर रहते हैं मैम, मेरा बोलना है इसे।
यस सर। यस सर। यस सर, नोटेड सर।
हम्म।
यस सर।
और आपका मेल आईडी ग्रुप पर शेयर कीजिए, क्योंकि पार्टिसिपेंट अभी
यस
समरी
सर,
टाइप करके आपको भेज देंगे।
I have already shared sir my mail.
ओके ओके
Yes sir, I have shared my number also, phone number also.
ओके ओके ओके।
Yes sir. Yes sir.
अमोल सर, माइक्रो टीचिंग की अगर कुछ गाइडलाइंस है, अगर कुछ तो आप प्लीज शेयर करिए कि उस हिसाब से वो वीडियो प्रिपेयर
माइक्रो
करने में
टीचिंग
हमें हेल्प
इंडक्शन
होगी।
इंडक्शन मीटिंग में ही सर ने बता दिया था आपको, बताया दिया था सभी पार्टिसिपेंट को। आपको एक टॉपिक रिलेटेड लेना है और हिंदी इंग्लिश उसका माध्यम होना चाहिए लैंग्वेज का। और वो 7 या 10 मिनट का वीडियो होना चाहिए, और उसकी वीडियो बना के आपको यूट्यूब चैनल पर डालना है। उसके बाद वहां से लिंक क्रिएट होती है, वो ही लिंक आपको रोल नंबर 46 को भेजना है।
फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम फ्रॉम द फिजिकल एजुकेशन, सो अगर मैंने कोई स्किल है या फिर कोई मतलब कोई भी तो स्किल है, तो उसका इन डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन करके भेज दिया तो चलेगा क्या?
यस यस यस, पर उसका
ओके
माध्यम आपको
ओके।
हिंदी या इंग्लिश होना चाहिए बताने के
यस
लिए।
यस, डेफिनेटली
यस।
डेफिनेटली।
सर माझा एक प्रश्न होता.
हाँ बोला मॅडम।
अ, भाषेच्या संदर्भातली, कारण मी मराठीची प्रोफेसर आहे.
हम्म.
हिंदी आणि इंग्लिशमध्ये अडचण येणार, कारण की जे काही
हा हा,
संशोधन केलं,
तुमचं जर
तर
काही
त्या
संशोधन आणि
संदर्भात थोडी
हा सब्जेक्ट तुमचा मराठी असेल तर तुम्ही मराठीमध्ये करू शकता, पण
विनंती.
थोडंसं हिंदीमध्ये पण तुम्ही समजून सांगा.
नाही नाही, ते
काही गोष्टी
करणार मी.
असेल, कारण
हो,
काय असतंय, तुमचं माध्यम तुमचं सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट तुम्ही मराठीमध्ये आहे, पण हिंदी
जी.
पण तुम्ही त्या गोष्टीला जाणून आहात.
हो हो. फक्त रिक्वेस्ट होती, की म्हणजे कारण तो जो व्हिडिओ आहे आणि गेल्या इतक्या वर्षापासून जे मी गावोगावी फिरून काम करते, ते मी मी माझं एक्सप्रेशन मी मराठीत व्यवस्थित करू
हो
शकते.
हो, तुम्ही
पण इथे
काही
करत
मुद्दे
असताना थोडं भाषेच्या संदर्भात थोडीशी सहकार्य
हा
असावं. कारण
भाषेची
की
लय
काय
तुम्ही
होतं.
भाषेमधूनच समजून सांगू शकता मॅडम, आणि जे काय तुम्हाला स्पष्टीकरण करायचे त्या संदर्भात तुम्ही हिंदीचा वापर करू शकता.
जी, जी. मनापासून धन्यवाद.
येस.
सर हे व्हिडिओ कधीपर्यंत बनवायचा, काही लिमिट आहे का, टाइम लिमिट?
टाइमलाईन सर बुधवारपर्यंत दिली 20 तारखेपर्यंत टाइमलाईन दिलेली आहे तुम्हाला व्हिडिओ बनवण्यासाठी.
ओके सर, ओके, मग काय.
Hello
तुम्हाला
sir.
7 ते 10 मिनिटाचा व्हिडिओ बनवायचा आहे, तुम्हाला तो युट्यूबवर टाकायचा
ओके
आहे. त्याची लिंक, युट्यूब लिंक पाठवायची. युट्यूब लिंक नसेल तर तुम्हाला 20 मार्क भेटणार नाही.
यस सर,
हॅलो सर, यात
ओके.
आयसीटी बेस्ड मायक्रो टीचिंग म्हणजे आपण जसं कोरोनाच्या काळात बनवत होतो तसे व्हिडिओ बनवायचे ना?
येस येस येस.
सर हे कोण नंबर कुठल्या नंबरला पाठवायची सर पार्टिसिपेट नंबर?
ग्रुपमध्ये बघा सर, ग्रुपमध्ये बघ, ग्रुपमध्ये टाकतील जे व्हॅलेंटियर
ओके.
कमिटी
मी
मेंबर
ऑलरेडी
नेमलेले आहेत.
मी ऑलरेडी टाकलेलं आहे सर सगळं.
मॅडम तुमच्याकडे समरी रिपोर्ट आहे, रोल नंबर 46 टाकतील
ओके ओके,
मायक्रो.
हा माझ्याकडे, हा ते ह्यांच्याकडे आहे, बरोबर. ओके सॉरी सर.
46 कडे आहे काय मॅडम लिंक पाठवायची?
46 रोल नंबर हे त्यांचा स्वतःचा मेल आयडी पाठवतील. त्या मेलवर तुम्हाला माहिती, तुमची स्वतःची मायक्रो टीचिंगची लिंक त्यांना पाठवायची आहे आणि त्यामध्ये मेलमध्ये तुम्हाला उल्लेख करायचा आहे तुमचं नाव, तुमचा रोल नंबर आणि खाली मायक्रो टीचिंग यूट्यूब लिंक. त्याच्यात
ओके सर.
तुम्हाला खाली ती लिंक पेस्ट करून त्यांना मेल पाठवायचा आहे. नाहीतर तुम्ही
ओके.
फक्त मेल लिंक पाठवतील आणि त्यांना
हम्म.
कळणार नाही की ही लिंक कोणाची पार्टिसिपंटची आहेत.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर.
तो सभी पार्टिसिपेंट जब माइक्रो टीचिंग और समरी रिपोर्ट भेजते हैं मेल पर, तो आपका नाम, आपका रोल नंबर मेंशन कीजिए और उसके बाद जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट अटैच करना है या लिंक पेस्ट करना है वो फॉर्मेट में मेल करना है, क्योंकि उनको जो भी वॉलंटियर कमेटी मेंबर है उनको आसानी हो.
हाँ मोहित सर, हेलो. हाँ मैडम, 28 नंबर मैडम, रोल नंबर 28 मैडम.
येस सर, येस सर.
हे जे रिपोर्ट रीडिंग आहे ना, त्याच्यामध्ये एक कन्फ्युजन असं आहे की जे डेट आहे त्याच्या पुढे रोल नंबर वेगळे. बरोबर आहे?
सर
त्या
ऐका
डेटच्या
ऐका 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 की एक मिनिट, मी तुम्हाला उद्या तुमचं जर असेल ना, मी तुम्हाला आज फोन करून सांगेन सर तुम्हाला उद्या याचं असं असं करायचंय म्हणून. डोंट वरी.
येस, ओके. कारण ते
हा
डेटच्या
अमोल सरांनी,
नाही,
मी
माझा
सगळं
प्रश्न
सांगेन
असा,
तुम्हाला.
ऐका ना, त्या डेटच्या दिवशी आपण रिपोर्ट रीडिंग करायचंय की दुसऱ्या दिवशी करायचंय?
दुसऱ्या दिवशी सर, रिपोर्ट रीडिंग आजच्या दुसऱ्या दिवशीच करणार ना आपण.
म्हणजे नाही, आपण आता 19 तारखेला आपला नंबर आहे,
तुम्हाला ज्या दिवशी डेट आली ना सर, तुमची
मी आज संध्याकाळी कॉल करेन सर. ज्या 4 लोकांना रिपोर्ट रीडिंग करायचं ना त्यांना कॉल करेन. तुम्हाला कशाचं रिपोर्ट रीडिंग करायचंय तेही सांगेन तुम्हाला. मग काय अडचण येणार नाही तुम्हाला.
ओके मॅडम, थँक्यू.
हा सर,
Yes,
हा
thank
हा
you.
फार हा,
खूप
डोंट
छान
वरी.
मॅडम.
हो सर, हो सर.
मॅडम समरी डेवाईज पाठवायची का आम्ही तुम्हाला?
डेवाईज समरी नाही, समरी पाठवायची, प्रत्येकानेच पाठवायची ना.
हा पण डेवाईज पाठवायची ना मग.
सर प्रत्येकाला दिलेलं आहे की
समरी प्रत्येकाने नाही पाठवायची मॅडम. ज्याला त्याची सेशन अलॉट केले त्याचीच त्यांनी पाठवायची.
बरोबर आहे की सर.
फक्त
ऑल
जे-
कॅन्डिडेट्स.
मी तेच सांगायला लागले.
All
मी कॉल
candidates.
केल्यावर सांगेन. मी कॉल केल्यावर
Yes,
सांगेन
sir.
तुम्ही पाठवायचे आहे का नाही. मी जेव्हा सांगेन पाठवायचे तेवढ्याचीच पाठवा
मैम
सर.
मैम मैम
हाँ,
देशपांडे के सुपर से मैम ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं.
येस सर, येस सर. गुड मॉर्निंग.
मैम अनम्यूट कीजिए. 28 रोल नंबर 28 अनम्यूट कीजिए.
ओके. गुड मॉर्निंग सर. गुड मॉर्निंग ऑल ऑफ यू. UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University conducted refresher course in teacher learning outcomes and educational reform. In this session, today's session, our 1 minute, sir. Our resource person is Dr. Mrs. Madhuri Sunil Deshpande, Senior Professor. She is ex-Pro Vice Chancellor, SRTM University, Nanded, India. She is Finance and Accounts Officer, SRTM University, ex-Management Council member, SRTM University. And then she has of 30 years of teaching experience. She has done her PhD in 2000. Her topic of PhD is study of women entrepreneurship in Marathwada. She has guided 14 PhD students and 6 MPhil students. She has completed one UGC sponsored major research project on empowerment of women through entrepreneurship and empirical study of Maharashtra in 2013. She has completed one minor research project on barriers for entrepreneurship among commerce and management students, a case study of SRTM University in 2011. On her account, she has 43 publications. Among them, 13 are international, 16 are national, seven books and 4 books, uh, 3 in soil and state journal. Then she has edited 7 books in commerce for YCMOU Open University. She has presented research papers in national, international seminars and conferences. In this way, we have such a great resource person. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
A warm welcome to all the participants in the session on academic leadership and change management in higher education, building institutional capacity to respond to pedagogical shifts. Nice to connect you online for this refresher course on learning outcomes and educational reforms. Thanks, organizers, for offering me this opportunity. In the first session, let us talk about academic leadership, and then we'll continue in the second session dealing with change management with reference to higher education. Is my PPT visible for you?
यस मैम।
Okay.
मैम मैंने पार्टिसिपेंट को अनम्यूट कर दिया है क्योंकि पार्टिसिपेंट डिस्टर्बेंस
Okay.
होता है, तो
Okay.
जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट रिस्पॉन्स देंगे वो चैट बॉक्स में देंगे।
Right, sir. Now, we are in the process of full-fledged implementation of National Education Policy 2020. And therein, number of essentials, number of parameters of this NEP 2020, we are trying to execute by giving our 100%. With reference to that, empowerment of the teachers, with reference to that, academic leadership, these issues, they are very, very significant. Teachers, they are required to be the role models for the students. When teachers, they keep updated regarding the latest developments, whenever they keep updated regarding various kinds of recent trends in related disciplines, and they are in a position to connect whatever happens in the economy with reference to whatever discipline you are studying. Whenever they are in a position to apply interdisciplinary approach, definitely that has a good impact on the development of the students. This NEP 2020, it talks about holistic and integrated development of the personality of the students. Definitely, when we want to achieve, because the belief is education is not only for the sake of making livelihood, it is for the life. The basic purpose of education, it indicates to help achieve and command several life skills and enhance quality of work, quality of life. And in addition to that, every individual is supposed to play a role of a responsible citizen, a respectable member of the society. While giving justice for personal goals, definitely community goals, family goals, societal goals, they are supposed to be balanced And accordingly, whatever one does is supposed to reflect in economic development and in national development at the end. When we understand whatever objectives they have been set for education, one of the chief aims of education is to widen the window through which we glance at the world. So that kind of perception regarding who am I, what I am required to do, what is purpose of my life, in what manner I can contribute my 100% to my family, to the society in which I live, and in the nation of which I am a part. So definitely, whenever such kind of question they are being posed, we have to give attention for different aspects of the teaching learning process. We do have admission procedures, a system of admitting the students to different courses, different programs in different institutions. Along with that, some norms are there with reference to choice of the institute, with reference to just a combination of offline as well as online modes of education. In addition to that, values, morals, they are equally important. What is to be done and what is to be avoided, what is fair, what is just, and what is not so fair. So a complete clarity regarding all these such kind of issues that is expected to be uh, just achieved by the students. And therein, student for the holistic development of the student, teachers, they are required to be more prepared, they are required to be more flexible, more dynamic for paying attention to the development of the students. And therein comes the role of academic leadership. There is curriculum, as I said, there is admission procedure, there is examination system, examination pattern, some standard they are established, and accordingly we are performing the activities so as to suit this education system. But anyhow, number of times we happen that, say for example, some uh, very dynamic changes they are taking place in the market and in the society, in the economy. But a procedure is there regarding board of studies, curriculum design, curriculum development, updation of the syllabi and like that. So let us not wait for that process. Instead of that, at our own level, just assume the leadership, take initiative in getting the responsibility of whatever I'm required to share with my students, whatever just impressions and influences I wish to develop for the sake of my students' development. With reference to that, it is very, very essential to review various aspects of this academic leadership. Academic leadership basically it deals with institutional leaders. It talks about institutional leaders who are required to formulate the vision of the institute. I mean, they are required to deal with setting institution strategic vision and accordingly bring out transformation in the institute so as to give justice for the vision, so as to just visualize the vision and accordingly reflect it in every action, reflect it in every decision every stakeholder is going to make. Along with that, academic leadership is also about change. We understand education always undergoes some kind of experimentation. Different policies, they are being developed. Different procedures, they are directed, they are suggested. Different experiments, they are conducted. World-class best practices, they are observed all over what is happening all over the world regarding education. Academicians, they are concerned with that. They monitor such kind of developments, and accordingly, whenever some set benchmarks are there, accordingly, that benchmark is supposed to be adopted for the purpose. So accordingly, change, that is a must. Very frequently, changes, they are required to be initiated, they are required to be accepted, and they are required to be implemented. So at our own level, we are required to play the role of a change agent. And along with that, there is a role, as far as leadership is concerned, there is a role of collaboration. Nowadays, we understand the importance of networking. We understand the importance of developing bonds with different stakeholders. A feeling of ownership, a feeling of togetherness, a feeling that I am a part of the system. I must give my 100%. Must give my wholehearted commitment to whatever I do for my organization, for my students, for my institution. So with that spirit, different kinds of collaborations, networks, everyone is required to establish. That is again a part of academic leadership. Definitely, we can never be able to afford to seek directions from the others and accordingly do that. On our own, we are required to visualize what is expected from me, what I am required to do at this moment for my institute, and accordingly, we are required to do the needful as and when situation demands. So no one is going to tell you that these 5 institutions, they are good and develop an MOU with them. No. Instead of that, as an academician, on my own, I should be competent and capable enough. I should be aware and inspired enough to know which are the good institute which are following state-of-the-art practices, with whom I am required to interact, from whom sharing of resources, it would be facilitated, and accordingly, collaboration management, that is again a very, very significant part of the task of an academician. Academic leadership, it focuses on guiding students towards success by helping them develop the skills, the knowledge which is required for development of their future career. Their future has to be shaped the manner in which they possess the aptitude, the manner in which they possess some traits, some aspects of talent, they are required to be given justice, and accordingly, they must be provided with several different challenges, several different opportunities wherein the students, they would be able to check their worth. They would be able to assess their own value, to assess their own knowledge level, their proficiency in dealing with different aspects of life, and accordingly, they would be getting an indication of where are the chances of improvement, in what manner the abilities, they can be developed again in the manner of the changes in the situation. So this is how academic leadership is revolving around development of the students. But basically, for the development of the students, self-development, that is the beginning. Making an effort for the professional development, that is the basic requirement. When this is done, definitely with reference to that, all other dimensions of academic leadership, all other dimensions of outcomes of this education, they would be given justice. Let us see how academic leader, they set goals with the students. In our day-to-day life, we observe that we come in interaction with the students. We try to assess their grasping level. We try to appreciate the environment, the background from which they have come. We try to understand what kind of achievable kind of targets we should set for them. For inspiring them, what is to be done? For supporting them, what is to be done? And accordingly, we are required to make an action plan so that all the students, let they be the average students, let they be the advanced learners or maybe the slow learners, whatever it is, for each category of the student, for each and every class of the students, we must be having a perfect time bound kind of action plan so as to mold their personality, so as to sharpen their mindset, so as to sharpen their skills, and so as to make a desirable kind of behavioral modification in the light of the discipline which they are studying, in the light of whatever objectives they are setting for themselves. So, for doing this, for performing this role as a teacher, number of aspects of the personality, they are required to give the justice.
मैम सॉरी डिस्टर्बेंस यू मैम आपकी स्लाइड मूवेबल नहीं हो रही
No, I have not moved yet.
आई थिंक ओके 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 नो नो यस कंटिन्यू
Yes. Just a moment. What I think is, instead of just reading out different slides, I'll be sharing with you few highlights, and accordingly, whatever ideas I'm having regarding that highlight, I would be sharing that with you. In case you're not comfortable, please, you can communicate me through your chat box. So, we have seen role of a teacher. Academic leadership is about something which we expect from the teachers. Instead of getting directions and orders from the others, from the seniors, or for those in authority, what is important is everyone is supposed to assume the role of a leader, take an initiative, and accordingly do whatever is in the interest of the student being done. Whatever is needed for a student, but basically student teacher relationship, that is very special. As we understand, a nature's a nation's progress, it depends upon the talent of the population. So educationists, they are having a definite role in development of a nation. And with reference to that, every student has to be assessed with reference to their attitude, with reference to whatever skills do they possess, regarding their ambitions, regarding their dreams, regarding their desires. And accordingly, a teacher has to make a tailor-made kind of action plan for fulfilling the expectations of the students from the education system. I do understand, but because for an MBA class, I'm a management teacher, I was a management teacher. Definitely, I have been dealing with different aspects of this management education, and I do understand that grasping is different, ambitions are different, dreams are different, background is different, future is different for everyone. But whenever, as a teacher, we are required to interact with the students with the same platform by giving justice for whatever just work, let it be a lesson plan, let it be an examination kind of task, let it be development of the curriculum, let it be revision of the syllabus, whatever it is, we try our best to give justice. But we do understand there are a number of limitations within which we have to work. There are a number of barriers we have to overcome. Definitely, as a teacher, we are enlightened enough, we are inspired enough, and by our own choice, we enter this profession. But when we become a part of the system, we understand several hurdles, we understand several barriers. So, academic leadership is about understanding such kinds of boundaries, understanding such kinds of barriers, and seeing to it that whatever I do, with a perfect knowledge of all such problems and difficulties, I'm doing that and I'm trying to overcome all such difficulties, and I'm trying to give a justice for my role as a teacher. Academic leader has to teach classes, an academic leader has to deliver engaging learning experiences. He or she has to deal with development of the curriculum for different programs, for different individual courses. Academicians, they are required to write detailed lesson plans. They are required to conduct research. They are required to keep updated with the industry trends, with the societal norms. They are required to participate in co-curricular as well as extracurricular activities with the students. They are required to assess student progress. They are required to prepare detailed report for the students. They are required to interact with the parents. They are required to interact with the industry. They are required to interact with the recruiters, employers, government officials as and when required. And of course, they are required to interact with the other faculty members as well as other institutions. They are required to select teaching methods, teaching learning approaches, which are suitable for diverse learning needs of the students. Academic leaders, they are required to adhere to institutional plans, institutional policies. They are required to respect the institutional culture, and at the same time, they have to give justice for the sake of encouraging students to do the same. So this is how we understand that there is a big portfolio for the students, for the teachers to deal with. So academic leaders, they are required to appreciate all the stakeholders, their needs, their expectations from the system, and accordingly, they are required to pay attention of each and every minute detail of such kinds of expectations as well as objectives of this education. Now, before proceeding further with the dynamics of academic leadership, let me review with you some basics of leadership, which I think is essential. In the light of academic leadership, let us review what basically that is uh, about leadership, what kind of leadership styles, what about the different essentials regarding the leadership theories, leadership competencies, and let us again talk about several guidelines for being effective leaders as such. I'm trying to change this slide. Just give me a moment. Just a moment. Give me some time. I don't know, something wrong with the laptop. Okay. Leadership screen is visible to you? Let me check the chat box. Okay, fine. So as is mentioned in the slide, leadership is not about making friends. It is not about influencing the people. It is not about salesmanship. Basically, it is the lifting of man's visions to higher heights, the raising of the a person's personality beyond its normal limitations. This is said by Peter Drucker, an eminent management professional who writes with clarity and who writes on the basis of several successful kind of practical experiences. So leadership basically, it is not only about an individual, it is about the entire team. It is taking care of the entire team, inspiring them, supporting them as and when required, and then ultimately seeing to it that everyone in the team contributes his or her 100% for the institution, and assumes a sense of ownership. Assuming that sense of ownership, that is what is important. Leadership, it is about empowerment, it is about collaboration, and it is about ownership with passion as well as belief. Empowerment. Now, this is again a basic feature, empowerment of the teachers, that is one of the essential highlights of NEP 2020. Unless and until teachers, they are able to keep them updated, unless and until they are having the latest kind of just updated knowledge, practical knowledge about that area, they may fail to inspire the students. So basically, it is about empowerment of the teachers and it is about empowerment of the entire team. All the stakeholders, they are required to be empowered. It is about collaboration, as just now I said, collaborations with reference to various institutions related as well as diverse institutions at different levels. That is a must nowadays in the light of this being in a global village. Ownership with passion and belief. Everyone should feel that I am a part of the organization. This organization cares for me and I must care for my organization. Whatever I do, definitely it gets reflected in the outcome, and accordingly I am also being benefited in the process. So that kind of feeling has to be spread along all the chains of this organizational hierarchy, and basically it is trust management also. When I am a part of the organization, I should get the feeling that this organization cares for me, everyone respects me, and in case I'm having some innovative ideas, definitely uh, all others, they are ready to listen to me, all other they are there to accept me. So as a leader, that kind of organizational culture has to be developed. Every team member has to just give one that kind of feeling, and with that feeling only the needful that would be done. Now, number of different kinds of leadership styles we understand. Just a moment. This. Sorry for taking your 2 minutes. So, for understanding that as an academic leader, what I am required to do and in what manner I can give justice for being a leader, how I would become acceptable for all my team members, what kind of trust and belief I can be able to create in my own institution. For that reason, different areas of dynamics of this leadership, they are required to be learned. Different theories, they have been put forward by different disciplinarians regarding leadership. Great man theory, trait theory, contingency theory, situational theory, behavioral theory, participative theory, transactional theory, relationship or transformational theory. These are the various dimensions of the leadership which indicates what is required to become a leader. In what manner you can have an cordial kind of relationship, agreeable kind of relationship with your team members. Sometimes it is being said, as said in the form of trait theory, that in case you possess some specific kind of personality traits, then you can become a good leader. Sometimes it is said that it depends upon the situation. It depends upon diagnosis of the situation. You must possess the skills of diagnosing the situation and seeing to it that all such kinds of situational variables you must be aware, and then you can take a decision regarding which kind of leadership style is to be adopted, which kind of philosophy that is more comfortable for you in a particular kind of situation, because we understand there is diversity of human nature, there is diversity of human behavior, different attitudes, different kinds of changes in aptitude we observe. So in the light of that, we understand there is theory X, there is theory Y, there is theory Z. Different dimensions are there regarding the personality, and accordingly, a student has to be given full attention and full energy for the development purposes. So a teacher definitely has to be an interpersonal expert. A teacher has to understand human psychology, the dynamics of interpersonal as well as intrapersonal phenomena. A teacher has to understand different dimensions of uh, group, team, and then with that, whatever is indicated under the educational goals that can be achieved. Behavioral theory, again, as the name indicates, depending upon your behavior, you can be able to have an influence, an agreeable kind of influence, and accordingly, you can make the other stakeholders do whatever is in the interest of the institution being done. Participative theory indicates respecting each member of the team and giving them full voice in making the decision. Just respecting their interest, respecting their wish, respecting their expertise, and accordingly uh, involving them in the decision making process, involving them in execution of the decision. So this is how different dimensions of the personality, they are required to be appreciated, and then only academic leadership, it would be given justice. Now again, we have to look at basic leadership competencies like vision, like management. Everyone has to possess a vision. Now at this moment, now when we experimented with different kinds of theories, different kinds of philosophies, it was not without a vision. We had some basic idea in our mind, and with that, we tried to experiment with different styles of leadership, different philosophies of management, as well as different philosophies of leadership. So, basic leadership competency indicates you must have a vision. You must be able to think ahead of your times. You must be in a position to visualize what is going to be the situation 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, what kind of changes they are taking place in environment, what happens at the legal environment, what is the political scenario, what kind of technological breakthroughs uh, you are observing, what would be their impact, such as at this moment we are apprehending the role of artificial intelligence, and we are just scared regarding some jobs they would be eliminated, some positions they would be eliminated. Again, number of apprehensions are there. Some say that only top management would persist, only skilled workers, basic shop and floor kind of workers, they would be having their jobs being fixed. Otherwise, there is no role of middle managers in the face of this artificial intelligence. So, depending upon different sectors of the economy, different depending upon the different nature of the work, basically, we have to appreciate the impact of artificial intelligence up in different ways. But anyhow, let me again share a few things regarding that, regarding such kind of apprehension, that with a basic uh, clarity of vision, understanding the environment, understanding the external environment, understanding the self-assessment, self-appraisal, with a perfect self-appraisal, in case you are able to understand whatever happens outside the organization, whatever happens in the economy, whatever happens at the borders of different, across borders of different nations, what is going to be the impact of all such kinds of developments upon the nature of the task. So accordingly, uh, definitely AI can never replace you with that kind of clarity, because we understand at this moment also several apps like ChatGPT very conveniently and very commonly we are applying, and with that, creative writing. Is there a threat for creative writing for this kind of things? Take the job of a teacher, and we understand job of it. Several online tutors they are available, several platforms like Swayam and all that MOOC platforms they are available for teaching learning process. So is there a threat for the role of a teacher? So, in case you understand true role of a teacher, definitely you will be just having a clarity regarding all such kinds of dilemmas, all such kinds of just confusions, and all such kinds of worries as well as fears and apprehensions. It is not like that. Whenever truly you understand what you are required to do, what is your role, what kind of task they are to be performed by you, then you will understand. Let it be, because when computers they were introduced, that kind of fear also it existed in those days regarding computer they are going to replace the human beings, but it never happened. What was required was some kind of updations, some cross skilling was required, some upskilling was required. So different aspects of just uh, personality, different aspects of behavior, different aspects of knowledge sharing, different aspect of bringing about behavioral changes, bringing about attitudinal modifications. So when we understand all such dimensions of role of a teacher, then definitely we know that nothing to worry about online teachers, nothing to worry, because teacher-student relationship, that is a one-to-one kind of relationship. Let us again try to recall the Gurukul system. Even though Gurukul system uh, in ancient India, uh, we we Indians, we were shining in the galaxy with a galaxy of scholars only with this Gurukul system, which was having the dimension of holistic and integrated uh, development of the personality of the students. And for that reason, dedicated teachers, one-to-one interaction, it was there in the Gurukul system. A holistic learning process was there, and accordingly we were having a special impact across the national boundaries and national borders, and Indian scholars they were known worldwide for their contributions. Number of names are there: Aryabhat, Sushrut, number of, take any discipline, let it be astronomy, let it be mathematics, let it be metallurgy, let it be textiles, and you'll find that Gargi, Maitreyi, Lopamudra, number of scholars, they were shining with their scholarship with reference to their inventions, innovations, discoveries, and credit entirely was of the teachers, of the teaching learning system, to the Gurukul system. Whatever was ingrained in our Gurukul system with reference to that, let us try to appreciate these basic leadership competencies. We were talking about vision. So appreciating that, what is the role of a teacher, what kind of student he or she is, what kind of ambitions the student possesses, accordingly, with reference to the background of the students, what is desirable for him or her, what kind of freedom and autonomy that is required to do that, what kind of learning lessons they are required to be provided, what kind of exposure is required for the student, experiential learning, internships, project assignment, field work, what kind of just pedagogies they are required for the student to just develop all dimensions of the personality. So that has to be appreciated. So when in the role of a teacher, we are talking about development of the student, it is not only about knowledge sharing. It is about acquiring several skills. It is about development of several uh, mindset, development of the mindset. It is about making attitudinal changes. It is about making some kind of modifications in the behavior. So at some point in time, only intelligent quotient, it was considered to be a measure of success. It was considered to be a major key for gaining success uh, in the society. But now we have understood the concept of multiple intelligence. So with that, we know we have not understood at this moment. We appreciate that emotional intelligence, it is a must for the sake of gaining success. It is a must for the sake of quality of life. It is required for the sake of being happy, and it is required for making others happy. Let it be family, let it be any group, let it be community, a specific community, let it be a specific kind of a region or area. You'll find that it is essential to be happy and to make others also happy, not to hurt the others. Gio or Gino do, that kind of live and let live others. So that kind of philosophy that is required. So emotional intelligence that is to be developed. So I'm talking about vision with that reference to naval KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude. They should be respected. For that, a vision is required for a teacher. Along with that, a teacher requires a vision for appreciating that, along with intelligence quotient, emotional quotient also has to be nurtured. It has also to be developed. Social quotient, that is again a requirement of the student. Spiritual quotient, spiritual intelligence, then again social quotient, that is again important. Physical quotient, physical fitness, that is again very much required. Nowadays, stress is a part and parcel of life. In the light of that, whenever you are trying to give justice for your role, several dilemmas are there, that making a balance between home life and work life, that balance has to be appreciated. So this is how, in case you want to give justice for your work and you want to give justice for uh, your role as a family member, for your role as your responsibility towards your spouse, that in that situation, all dimensions of your personality regarding intelligence, emotional intelligence, regarding spiritual intelligence, regarding your social intelligence, your adversity quotient. It is important. So, unless and until you are having a personal, direct contact with your student, you can never be able to identify such kind of needs of the students and give a customized, tailor-made kind of action plan so as to realize, so make the realization in the student regarding what journey is to be traversed for being a responsible, capable, and competent professional in the society. So, that kind of vision is required for any leader. And basically, for academic leader, that kind of just visualization is a must. I do understand that in the light of workload distribution and in the light of whatever just statutory workload is to be just offered, in the light of that, it may not be possible to have one-to-one interaction with all the students because in an MBA class, 60 students are there. So in case you are giving time for each and every student, so definitely that would be an injustice with your maybe with your personal life, maybe that would be a compromise with your physical fitness, your mental health and like that. But in spite of that, whenever I am talking about an academic leader has to give justice for all such kinds of issues. And I'm saying that not only with a theoretical kind of, with a bookish kind of pattern, whatever I experimented in my own academic career over the years. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Nothing impractical, nothing theoretical uh, we are discussing at this moment. Whatever experiences and lessons I had in my life, whatever learning at this moment also I'm trying to get, with reference to that, I'm speaking about all such kinds of basic leadership competencies. It's about management. At some point in time, role of a teacher was with reference to a tutor. Convey whatever are the principles, whatever are the theories, whatever are the rules, regulations regarding a particular discipline, sharing of knowledge to be at the basic level. But as we understand, that is never enough. That was never enough. And at this moment also, it can never be adequate to do that. In addition to that, we are required to give justice for other dimensions also. And for that reason, empowerment is a must. Unless and until, because at some point in time, let me share my own example with you instead of just being talking about the theoretical kind of things. As I said, being a management teacher, when I joined School of Commerce and Management Sciences of Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, uh, I was having postgraduate, I had two postgraduates at my credit, and along with that, uh, I was pursuing my research for PhD. And basically, the key advantage was I worked as a management consultant with a good brand like Nirle. So industrial exposure I had when I joined the school, which was which was a requirement for management management teaching and learning. So I felt good when I joined teaching. I used to interact with the students. But as time passed, I realized that now my industrial experience is 1 year old. Now it is 2 years old. And now slowly I got the feeling that am I giving full justice to my role as a management teacher? Basically, we teachers, we try our best to have an interaction with the industry. We develop we make an attempt, we make several attempts to interact with the other academicians, uh, participate in various workshops, conferences, seminars, go for paper presentations, try to make publications, try to be in the field for experiential learning and for giving that kind of experience to the students. Industry meets, industry experts, inviting industry experts at the campus, at the institute, then local industrial visits, industrial tours, number of initiatives we experiment with. But whatever experience I had as a management consultant, so I was missing that kind of experience at some point in time. Continuously I had the feeling that I have to do something different. I have to do something with on floor on the shop floor. I have to experiment with several kind of experiments on my own, and then only I would be able to convey to my student, look, this is what is to be done for being a good manager. And at that moment in time, uh, what kind of experiences we can have? We conduct conferences also, and in conferences, uh, again we see to it that number of professionals, number of consultants we invite, and uh, different kinds of just discussions they take place for developing our curriculum. We get input from them. But anyhow, uh, that may not be sufficient. So we should take all such kinds of opportunities wherein we can get that full time of full-fledged kind of corporate exposure. So at some point in time, being a member of the board of studies, being just a member of research RRC, RAC, being a member of the curriculum designing committee, advisory board member uh, for some a particular kind of program in other universities also. So that is a good learning. And with that, whatever I'm talking about, vision, management, empowerment, networking, development of different collaborations, entrepreneurialism, multicultural awareness, all such kinds of leadership competencies in due course of time, they are being nurtured and they are being sharpened. At some point in time, uh, I got a message from Honorable Vice Chancellor that whether I am ready to take additional responsibility of being a finance and accounts officer. I was very much happy regarding my job as a teacher. I was trying to give full justice to the role of the teacher. But in spite of that, whenever uh, I was asked about being the administrative, dealing with some kind of administrative responsibility, I thought that it is a good opportunity for having an industry exposure, and that too within the same campus, on the same campus. Uh, in case that opportunity is available, I thought that I should take that opportunity so as to enrich a teacher in me. Uh, there was some issue that whether my role was as a teacher, it would be subordinated. So then again, I internalized on that, and then I found that no, when we do research, teaching work, it is not impaired. On the other hand, role of a teacher, it becomes more effective, it becomes more interesting, it becomes more meaningful whenever you are pursuing research. Same case is with interaction with the industry. Same is the case with having some kind of corporate exposure. Whenever you do that, although you feel that I'm spending few hours in other activities, but anyhow, whenever you are not giving some kind of, you are not compromising your teaching working hours. So Instead of only reading books, instead of just only listening to the others lectures, instead of that, in case on your own you are observing others, you are experimenting with your own management practice, you are experimenting with your own industrial ideas, you are experimenting with your own project. Definitely that is a great learning, and that kind of development of the personality, that is very much desirable for every teacher. So every teacher has to grab all such kinds of opportunities for learning from outside, because ultimately it contributes to academic leadership, it contributes to academic administration. Whenever it is about academic administration, definitely it amounts to more effective utilization of the personality of the teacher for development of the student. So when at some point in time I was asked to be, I was just requested to be uh, a part of core committee member of International Student Committee. So definitely I was very much happy to shoulder that kind of responsibility of developing policy for my university regarding admission to international student, their fee structure, the manner in which allotment of different programs and different courses it would be done, allotment of the students to different teachers, to different institutions, to different places. It was a great opportunity, understanding their needs, counseling them, making them familiar with the uh, university culture, making them acquainted with whatever practices they have been followed in the organization, making modifications in the regular teaching learning style, understanding the presence of international students in the class. That was a great thing. That was a great learning. So this is how, when I'm spending maybe 1 hour daily for the task of International Student Center, so definitely it is adding spice to whatever ideas I'm having regarding interaction with the regular students. International student, they are having some special needs, they are having some specific kind of demand, they are having their diversity is there, because inclusivity, multidisciplinary nature, diversity, these are the various dimensions of the education system, they must be respected. So whenever we are interacting in various capacities to different stakeholders at different levels from different backgrounds, basically all such kinds of leadership competencies, they are being nurtured, they are being developed. So empowerment of self and simultaneously making others also empowered, inspiring them to be empowered, that is a very enjoyable kind of experience. So every teacher has to work on all such kinds of listing of basic leadership competencies, and one has to learn what I can do so that I can be able to develop myself in a particular way. Like whenever I'm talking about entrepreneurialism, personal style, personal energy, multicultural awareness, so I have to think what kind of tasks are there in my own institution, in the other institutions of my familiarity, wherein I can assume different roles and I can enrich myself for understanding how I can cater to the requirement of a student in a far better way. This kind of difference is there in between having one-to-one personal direct relationship with the students than being an online tutor or being just interacting through artificial intelligence. So such kinds of human feelings, such kinds of caring, compassion, such kinds of just understanding the call of the heart as well as call of the brain. So definitely that is possible only for a human being. Uh, any machine can never be able to imitate that. Again, at some point in time, as what I was saying, I met with different experiences, different learning kind of just opportunities, and with that, at some point in time, uh, I was required to assume the role of a president of uh, a committee which was working against sexual harassment of women at the workplace. And at that time, I again realized the role of the gender. Role of gender making the students gender sensitive, trying to understand gender parity, gender equality, trying to overcome gender discrimination. No doubt, uh, all of us they are doing that, but when specifically in the capacity of a president international this internal complaints committee ICC, I was looking at various cases. I was just conducting several sessions. I was having just recording the statements and the various kinds of events and happenings as and when they took place, observing the reactions, the responses of different parties concerned with a particular kind of complaint or grievance, then I found that there is a definite change in me as a teacher with reference to this gender specific kind of issues. And that change was positive, that change was desirable. So, what I try to just suggest is in this manner, when we pay attention for the role of a academic leader in the light of different competencies, and accordingly for each and every competency on my own I am internalizing how good I am at that. In case I find that I must make some kind of improvement, what kind of improvement is expected, what kind of improvement can be done, what kind of just strategies can I adopt for making such kinds of improvement, then definitely with that this making of an academic leader, that process that would become very much enjoyable, and that would be an effective kind of exercise to do that. Feedback. Now, getting a feedback from other teachers, getting a feedback from parents, getting a feedback from different employers, getting a feedback of the peers, superiors, getting, and above all, getting a feedback of the students. Again, uh, that is again the true indication of being a good leader. So, with this, again, I wish to indicate that don't hesitate to assume different responsibilities on your own. You should invite different opportunities and see to it that with these experiences, with these visits, with these interactions, several different competencies they are being built up. Then again, being a NAC assessor, visiting different institutions, assessing them on all the parameters suggested by NAC, again, that is a very beautiful kind of experience, because you learn many things, and again whatever you have learned until yet, very conveniently and very effectively you can be able to communicate that, share that to that institute and all the stakeholders within that institute. That is a great opportunity. In this manner, leadership competencies, they are supposed to be nurtured, they are supposed to be developed. Different leadership styles are there. Autocratic leadership style, bureaucratic leadership styles, charismatic, democratic, laissez-faire, transactional. Now, As per my personality, I'm more comfortable with participative kind of leadership style. Everyone has a flair for a particular kind of leadership style depending upon one's own personality. But anyhow, depending upon the nature of the task, depending upon the environmental factors, depending upon the capacity of my student, depending upon the ambition of my student, depending upon what kind of freedom I get in my institute. Uh, Again, sometimes I have to go for autocratic leadership style also. So, in case my personal choice is in favor of democratic leadership style or participative leadership style, still then uh, situational demands indicates many times to develop to go for bureaucratic leadership style, even though it is not just desirable, but no choice in some situations but to adopt that bureaucratic leadership style. So to understand which leadership style is good for me, appropriate for me, in a particular kind of situation, definitely a detailed knowledge regarding all these leadership style, that is a must. I have to experiment with different leadership styles. I have to collect information about all such kinds of leadership styles, their conveniences, what kind of inconveniences they might be faced, and I have to appreciate that what is the most relevant and appropriate style of leadership in a particular situation. So that is again contributing for being a good leader. With that, again, we indicate several different guidelines for being an effective leader. Self-appraisal and self-awareness. Definitely, this is the first step towards being a good leader. Unless and until I know who am I, koham, what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what kind of opportunities they must be fit for me. The same thing which I did whenever some offer was there regarding being working as a NAC assessor, maybe being working as a Pro Vice Chancellor, maybe working as a management council member. Then again, being working as a director of the school, head of the department. Number of such kinds of opportunities they are indicated. Um, and at that point in time, in absence of a perfect self-appraisal, you may not be able to either accept or to reject that kind of offer. So complete awareness about oneself, that is a must. So in management, we adopt SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges, that kind of framework. So frequently, as per convenience, that technique has to be adopted, and accordingly, we can just identify different opportunities which can be pursued for attaining perfection as well as excellence in the role of a teacher, in the role of an academic leader, an academic administrator, whatever it is. Then watch leaders you respect. Number of good benchmarks, they are around us. We must make a deliberate, a systematic, regular effort so as to observe others and accordingly learning from them the best practices, what is to be done and what is to be avoided. So, keeping a track of the outside excellence. So, that is again a step towards being an effective leader. Then choose right leadership style. Get complete information about different styles of leadership being adopted by different academicians, and accordingly try to see to it that this particular leadership style that is just fit for me in this particular kind of situation. So that is again would be making a big way towards success for being a good leader. Crystallize your values and challenges. Number of challenges are there. Nowadays, you have to deal with a diverse kind of nature of the stakeholders. Environment may not be completely friendly. Some hostility might be there. But anyhow, being a leader, you cannot just reject few and select few. You can be never be able to do that. Whoever are working with you, definitely you have to be, you have to get along with them. You have to be with them. So some traits may be undesirable, but anyhow, not without causing a rift. A perfect conflict management strategy has to be adopted, and therein there is a taste. There is a test of your values, your moral, whatever ethics and code of conduct you follow. So number of times are there in which you are required to understand that. Several dilemmas they would be observed, and in that several questions and confusions you may have to face. But in case you are going through such kinds of hardship, definitely you would be emerging as a very, very good and kind human being, and you would be emerging as a very, very effective kind of leader, as well as an excellent kind of teacher. So one should not be afraid of various challenges. One should not be afraid of resistance, of conflict, of disagreement. It is bound to be there because as many heads, those many opinions, those many views. So accordingly, uh, respecting all and integrating the diverse views and opinions and arriving at some kind of consensus. So that is the real kind of challenge for any administrator. In that situation, um, your personal philosophy, your code of conduct, it would be helping you uh, to come out of all such kinds of dilemmas and all such kinds of conflicts. Approach, and in that situation you'll be required, you may be requiring a coach or a mentor. So definitely a guru is required everywhere. From every day you may not be in touch, or every day you may not have an interaction with your mentors as such, but definitely such kinds of respectable persons who are affectionate towards you. So such kinds of persons, they are having a great role in your progress. Whether you are in the right direction or not, you have to appreciate that. You have to check that at a frequent interval of time. Because what happens, maybe in case you are in trouble, you may become frustrated and you may behave in a wrong way. It is quite probable. On the other hand, in case you are continuously meeting with success, then again, in that situation also, you may lose the touch of the ground, and definitely there is a probability that you may not understand whether you are performing a good work or not. You may be you may be misdirected because of that kind of feeling of dominance or of superiority. So in both the situations, you had to be on ground. You have to just understand that you are a practical person, and you should never compromise with human values and basic manners, etiquettes, and all that. So with reference to all these issues which I told you, there is a role of a mentor. So mentoring is having its own significance for just being on ground. Frequent feedback. Already I talked about frequent feedback. Frequent feedback that is required from all the stakeholders. As a person, how am I? As a family member, as a spouse, as a parent, as a teacher, as an administrator, as an academician, as a researcher. How how well I'm performing, whether I'm making some kind of mistake, what are the improvements which I must make. All such kinds of questions they would be answered in case you are following a system of getting a frequent feedback. I do remember in my initial days that at the end of every semester, I prepared a questionnaire, and for each student, I shared that kind of questionnaire. In those days, online system was not so popular. It was not there. So I used to prepare some photocopies of the questionnaires. And again, I used to hand it over to the exiting students. And I used to get just feedback from them regarding in what manner, what they liked about me, what they disliked about me, and what kind of suggestion they are having for improvement in me as a teacher. So I used to ask them. So number of times I got very good suggestions and very meaningful kind of just suggestions for the sake of development. So in this manner, we are interacting different stakeholders each day. So uh, as per the need and as per the availability of time, in case we are getting feedback and accordingly working on that feedback, so definitely it is a good step. It is an excellent kind of step for being an excellent teacher. Then again, effective leadership. uh, this effective leadership again, it is based on several other guidelines also, like foster open communication. You must be open to ideas from all ways. Quality circle, that is one of the just methodologies dealing with quality management. It was based on the belief that quality circle, when it was established, then it was said that it was assumed that until then, uh, in our day-to-day life, generally what we do is we observe that always we wait for directions from the superiors, and when superior they direct us, we accordingly we follow that. In case we face with some problem, again we look towards elders or seniors for their advice and for solution for solving the problem. uh, but top to bottom, that is always is the flow of orders and directions from bottom to top. That kind of direction of instructions or advice or suggestions, very rarely it was being used. Quality circle philosophy, it indicated that those who are near to the work, they are more aware, they are more skillful in identifying the problems and in solving the problems. It was said humorously that previous to this quality circle philosophy, workers, they used to park their brains along with their vehicles in the parking lot, and they used to enter the shop floor. But after the participative management system like quality circle, they used to park only their vehicles and they used to enter the shop floor with their brains, with their ideas, with their views, with their opinions, and accordingly, uh, they were considered to be equal stakeholders in identifying problems, in solving the problems, in trying to just discuss various ways and means for the sake of improvement. So this is how open communication, that is the need of the hour. For you take any aspect of your life and you will find that with open communication, number of problems they can be eliminated before their occurrence. Exemplify positive behavior, that is being a role model. Being a role model, that is the requirement, uh, because in case some model is there, others immediately they learn, they pick up that this is what I have to do. I have to do many more things than was being done my teacher. My teacher uh, told me 10 things. So my students, I should tell 20 things. So this is how uh, some standard in case that is fixed, you know how to meet the target and how to just being ambitious for getting more and more. So that kind of positive behavior, in case you are just showcasing for your students. So definitely that would be a great step for their development. Set smart goals. Whatever goals you are setting, they should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be achievable, they should be relevant, and they should be time bound. All these dimensions of planning, they should be respected, and then it would be contributing for good leadership. Planning ahead. Definitely, planning, it contributes for effectiveness, excellence, as well as perfection. It is said humorously that some fail to plan and some plan to fail. So, embracing continuous learning. Teacher is a student forever. So, that forever studentship, always a teacher has to remember. For several years, we have been dealing with uh, uh, theory as well as practical. Project work was only for professional courses, but later on it was adopted for the other regular disciplines and regular courses and programs also. So definitely that was a learning. When computers were introduced, teachers they were required to learn computers, computational abilities they were required to develop. Now with AI, with chat GPT and related kind of things, definitely at this moment also, we are required to learn new and new things. When online system was suggested in Corona times, again, we had to learn. Many of us, they were not aware about online modes of communication. But now everyone amongst us has become very much familiar with these online modes of communication on online platforms. Very conveniently nowadays we are just adopting. So this is how embracing continuous learning, that is a basic essence of this effective leadership, and as well as with being a good teacher. Conduct self-evaluation regularly. Definitely. Self-assessment and self-evaluation. There is no alternative to that. For targeting any achievable goal, you have to be through the process of self-achievement, as self-assessment, as well as self-evaluation. Now, one aspect of dealing with academic leadership we have covered. Now, two aspects they are left: digital leadership and uh, leading digitally and leading change. So, let us take a break uh, for near about 10 minutes, and then we'll continue with uh, these two aspects of change management as well as digital leadership. Is it fine? Okay, let us take a break. Now, as per this teacher MMTTC guidelines, for a session, 60-minute 60-minute just lecture is there, and thereafter 30-minute discussion that is expected. So let us begin next session with views from your side, uh, and then again whatever ideas they are left, I would just be able to touch those. So let us meet after 10 minutes. Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we had shared some ideas regarding academic leadership and regarding the skills, activities which are required to be monitored by the academicians. The basic purpose is holistic and integrated development of the students. So as to achieve that, whatever needs to be done by a teacher in the context of an institution, that has to be done. Academic leadership talks about that. At some point in time, role of a teacher was concerned only with the role as a teacher. But nowadays, that has been the role of a teacher has been expanded, we can say, to a operations manager who is concerned with development of all the facilities and all the resources, right from teaching learning material, teaching learning methodology, various experiences, online, offline experiences, project work, field work, all such kinds of activities and different dimensions, they have been added for the role of a teacher. So for making learning complete experience, which would be fulfilling the learning, which would be contributing to desired learning outcomes, the entire system has to be developed so that through internships, through field experiences, through projects, through different real practical assignments, through online as well as offline devices of communication and expression, a student has to understand what he or she is capable of becoming and making an effort so as to be capable of that. Now, a teacher is required to be proficient with reference to knowledge, with reference to wisdom, with reference to digital proficiency also that is expected from the teachers. As I said, previous to corona pandemic, very few amongst us, they were being familiar with this online platform for learning. But now everyone is well versed with Zoom, Google Meet, and all such kinds of devices which are available for learning with effectiveness and with efficiency. So, digital leadership also, leading digitally also, that is again deliberately has to be focused by the teachers. So, for that, first, what are the digital capabilities a teacher has to internalize on that, has to be perfect for collecting information regarding what kind of digital capabilities they are available for a particular kind of discipline as such. And then whatever has been done traditionally until yet, that has to be changed towards digital phenomena. And students, many of the time students, they are demanding, they know what do they expect from the institute, what do they expect from the teachers. But always they may not be having that kind of expertise, always they not be having a complete perception of the situation. In that situation, teachers, they have to lead for developing a digital vision, for understanding what kind of probable resources they can be made available for them, and in what manner the students they would be availing those resources for their benefit. So framing the digital vision, that is the task to be performed by a teacher. And then to engage better with the team members, now teacher who is a leader, on his or her own, he learns whatever he or she desires, just being done for the team, for the students. But at the same time, along with self-learning, academic leaders, they are required to make such kinds of facilities available for their colleagues also, for other stakeholders also. They are not meant only for the sake of student, they are meant for the sake of other colleagues and other stakeholders also. Team member, they must be inspired, they must be supported as and when required, they must be given feedback as and when required. That is the task to be performed by the academic leader. Then governing digital activities, whatever activities uh, they have been chosen for an institution for a particular program, accordingly they are required to be governed. Some limitations are there regarding, although we are talking about digital learning as such, till now some infrastructural bottlenecks are there, some operational difficulties, some financial constraints we face. In the light of all such kinds of hurdles, basically governing the digital activities, that is the challenge for an academic leader. Sometimes what happens is leaders, they are proficient enough, but they may not be willing to do the same for the others. So it will not work. And from that angle, the issue of academic leadership, that is important. Whatever you are doing, that is not only for the sake of your own self. It is not only for the sake of your own students. It is for the sake of other teachers and other stakeholders also. While doing that, whenever there is an opportunity for doing that for the others, for other institutions, for the students of other disciplines, for the students of other uh, colleges, for the students of other universities, for the sake of other nation students, other state students. So at all these dimensions, because being digital means there is no barrier of distance. So from that angle, again, some kind of modifications in the teaching learning style, the kind of language you are using, the kind of examples you are quoting, the kind of experiences you want to offer to them. With reference to that, you must appreciate, and accordingly, that experience can be made very, very effective one. Then at the time of pandemic, what happened was, when I assumed the responsibility as director of the school, pandemic was in full swing. So physically, it was not possible to carry on activities for the students. Online lectures, they were being carried on, but it was not enough. I thought only lectures, they were never enough for specifically for a management student. Only lectures would be very inadequate kind of thing for them to be done. So what I thought was industrial exposure, it was miserably being missing. So what I did was I contacted some industrialist, and I requested them to prepare some videos showing them the entire details of their industry, and accordingly they recorded such videos and they passed on those videos for me, and through my school. I broadcasted all those videos, and at least some feel of the real life business world I tried to share with them. Similarly, through Zoom platform, again, I tried to visit some industries along with my students. That was again being a good experience. Industrialists, they cooperated, and students also, they were very much enthusiastic for having that kind of first-hand kind of experience of the industry. So number of visits we carried on regarding different backgrounds. Then again, some online workshops also we organize for the students, in which uh, um, the industrialists and the professionals from different industries, they with different kind of methodology, they interacted with the students, and accordingly students also responded very well to them. Otherwise, number of times what happens, we are very much enthusiastic, we organize several kinds of activities for the students, but the students, they don't respond as per our expectation. But anyhow, when personally, individually, you are being in touch with them, you are trying to motivate to them, you are trying to be very much close to their heart, you appeal to their just ambitions, to their dreams. Definitely, what I observed was 100% attendance. Several sessions I observed 100% attendance of the students. All the students they attended. And just from time to time, we check whether their videos, their audios they were on, and whether really they were attentive or not. So that kind of attentive level also that was observed. And here, as I said, artificial intelligence, it can never replace we teachers, because with we are having some compassion, some empathy, some concern for the well-being of the students, and accordingly, one-to-one kind of efforts we make to make them realize the need of that activity. We inspire them, motivate them to take part in that and get a benefit out of that. So this was done. Then again, regarding leading digitally, I would like to make a mention of one more activity which I carried on in my school. When the doors of the education, the institute, they were open in the initial phases after the corona pandemic. Students, they were hesitant to enter, and some conceptions were there regarding the physical just presence and all that. So at that time, one student told me uh, that she is well versed during this kind of corona pandemic regarding share market, and she knows a lot regarding those trading and number of guidelines she wanted to share with the students. So I explored the probability and I said, let me check what I can do. Initially, I was not clear regarding what I can do for her, because very enthusiastically she wanted to deliver her experiences, to share her experiences with the other students. Uh, then I decided to have a discussion forum. I introduced a discussion forum for the students, in which at least 1 hour it was given as per the request of the student, and through digital platform, uh, some interaction was initiated. She explored whatever experiences she met with. She told all the students some tips, some guidelines, and students, very surprisingly, to my expectation, they interacted and they asked questions and they took inspiration for the sake of that kind of trading experience. So digitally also such kind of activities they can be carried on. Then again, either through their mobiles or through their laptop, the students, they just try to be connected, or sometimes in an open hall with a distance apart in the same hall, that display was through LCD projector, and all the students, some offline students and some students online, they were just being a part of the classroom session. So that kind of just area wide classroom also we had. That was again a good experience. All those who could not come because of their some apprehensions, they could enjoy that session as per their convenience. And while all those who wanted to learn being in the classroom, so definitely they were very much happy of meeting the students, being in the class environment and learning along with the others. So this is how uh, just this digital mode of transportation, it is having number of conveniences, number of interesting kind of activities they can be organized along with that. And barring no, at this moment also we are enjoying the digital convenience. We need not travel to a particular place, but still then expertise from across different locations, from different places, definitely we can enjoy at this level. So this is how this, along with values, along with knowledge, along with culture, uh, these academic leaders, the teachers, they are required to make their contribution across different parameters. Values also they are required to share with the students, their personal philosophy also they are required to showcase to the students for their development, for their inspiration. Along with that, they are required to be proficient for online methods of teaching, learning. And while doing all these, definitely change management that is expected from the teachers. As we know, change is inevitable across all sectors in all organizations. Being proactive for change, for accepting change, for managing change, for initiating and implementing change, that is the requirement. But at the same time, uh, the teacher, they are required to keep people engaged, productive, and satisfied, and managing minimum disruption. That is again being expected from the teachers. Change management process indicates preparing the institutional members, the all the departments, all the administrative staff and the teachers and students for the and upcoming change, developing an operational kind of plan so as to guide the process and actually implementing the transformation. That is the expectation of from the teachers. Let us delve into the change management process in higher education. Let us examine the major obstacles and offer some practical strategies for leaders so as to successfully guide their institutions through change. So, change management indicates involving all the team members in the transition, support them in adapting to change, whatever difficulties and confusions are there, solve all those problems, and inspire them so as to contribute their best for the common purpose, for the common mission. So, that is the responsibility being expected from the teachers. Transitions, they are essential for growth and excellence, but they may not be always pleasant. They may not be always be very much pleasing. We observe change management is required for all sectors, everyone from all endeavors of human knowledge has to accept the change management. But some sectors adopt change more easily than the others. Higher education specifically faces several challenges in implementing and sustaining meaningful kind of transforms. Number of difficulties are there in higher education for change management. Number of pressures are there for implementing the change initiatives. After this global pandemic, we observe a fall in the overseas enrollments. People, they have become very much skeptical. Then again, always funding battle that is ever present because government tightens purse strings. Digital transformation has become a priority for the students because they are more and more needing the online courses. They are more and more interested in pursuing the online programs. The universities and the higher education institution, they are confronting various challenges. They are have confronting unique workplace and cultural conditions, and because of that, change management is becoming somewhat posing some difficult kind of challenges. There are a number of reasons why this change management is getting more and more difficult for higher education. Anyhow, we have to understand those barriers to change, and in the light of those challenges, we are required to develop some strategies to navigate these challenges and create a culture which would be embracing that transition. Uh, Let us make an institute, a learning institute, so that everyone would be just desiring some kind of betterment. Everyone would be accepting the change. On the other hand, they would be proactive in initiating change in the organization. But theoretically, we understand that, but practically, the most common and obvious reaction to change is resistance. Number of concerns are there about job security, about increased workload, about the fear of the unknown, about loss of control. Number of fears are there, and because of such kind of fears, people, they resist change. On their own, they are not willing to embrace change, but they discourage others also in accepting the change. They create several rumors, they develop some kind of fears in the mind of the others regarding the change. Because of this feeling of insecurity, we understand that several deliberate, consistent efforts are required so as to make people receptive for change. Um, our institution, they are based on long-standing traditions and practices, and because of that, the faculty members, they find it difficult to alter the established routine. Uh, we become attached to our place of work, and when some change is just planned, we may feel that this is a threat to what we know, what we love, what we practice. We consider it as a threat, and because of that, uh, there is a possibility, there is experience of people resisting change. Majority of the persons, basically, they care about their future of their institute, and because of that, they are not against change, but because of their perceptual kind of fears and apprehensions, uh, they are not very much ready and willing to participate in the transformation process because they are habituated to preserve what is great about their workplace. And in case some break is there in their perceptions, definitely they don't, some inertia is there for which they are not able to overcome. Academic culture, it number of times it values autonomy, academic freedom. We are very much desiring that, we are very much take pleasure in that, and because of that, there may be a conflict for accepting change, which is having a top-down kind of thing. In case it is imposed from top, there is a natural tendency to say no. But as and when it is through collaboration, it is through awareness, it is through education, it is through training, definitely such kind of change is a welcome kind of thing with reference to collaborative thoughts and with reference to collaborative ideas. Now it is essential to understand psychology of change. In case you understand the psychology behind resistance to change, definitely you can provide valuable insights for higher education leaders. People naturally they fear the unknown and prefer the comfort of their familiar routine. There may be a cognitive bias such as loss aversion because of status quo bias, and because of that resistance is being continued. Um, Sometimes we don't want, we may fear that whatever is our established role, whatever is my status and whatever is my position in the organization, uh, that would be lost. Whatever my responsibilities or status is in the organization, it may be lost. So in that situation, uh, because of this loss aversion, it would be observed. Similarly, as I said, there is lack of awareness number of times. Because of lack of awareness also, people, they may not understand the potential benefits of change. They may not be able to appreciate the need for change. And because of that, because of this lack of awareness, they may not be in favor of change. But in case you are making them aware about the nature of change, the need for change, because of the potential benefits of change, because of the consequences in case of not accepting the change, adverse consequences in absence of change accepting, then maybe the resistance would be less, or it may be brought to minimum or less, nil also. But anyhow, lack of awareness that is found to be the major reason for resistance to change. Then bureaucratic structure, that is again a big hurdle in the face of accepting the change. Many of the government institute they follow still the bureaucratic structure. They have very intricate as well as slow moving kind of procedures and processes. Decision making processes, they are very much lengthy. Multiple layers of approval they are required, and whatever enthusiasm is there for initiating change, that may be lost in this lengthy process, in this cumbersome kind of procedures that may happen number of times, because the document moves from the file moves from table to table. Again, some gaps are there, some disruptions are there, some delays are there. So when you experience it next time, you will be able, you will be in a position to avoid it. You may not be in favor of just doing that. See, such kind of bureaucratic procedures, they may stifle innovation, and basically they would delay implementation of the required kind of changes. Then again, we observe that stakeholders' interest, they are diverse. Stakeholders, they are from different backgrounds. They are having their different interest. So their perception is different, their ambitions are different, their way of looking at the situation is different. Uh, and because of that, uh, they are not very much in favor of change. Number of wide range of stakeholders we observe, like there are students are there, faculty members are there, administrative staff, they are having different priorities and different preferences. uh, teachers and administrative staff members. Again, very few things they are common amongst them. Their personality patterns they are different. Their priorities are different. Their working style is different. Their philosophy is different. So because of that, uh, in case everyone is having a different interest, so definitely change manager has to do a lot for the sake of balancing all such kind of interests, coordinating all such kinds of diverse stakeholders and make them convince about implementation of the change. So balancing the diverse interest, it makes it challenging because what we want is agreement for accepting change, because direction of change, nature of change, so that has to be communicated to the stakeholders. So teachers, they are to be communicated at a different level. Students, they are to be approached with a different angle. Government bodies, again, the methods of communication, the matter of communication, that is different. Then again, the platform for communication also differs. So because of such kinds of diversity in stakeholders and consequent uh, difference in their interest, it makes transformation a difficult kind of process in the higher education institute. In any higher education institute, there are different departments, there are different programs, there are different courses. And in that situation, again, because of conflicting priorities, different departments' priorities are different. Science departments, they are having different angles. Humanities kind of sections, they are having their different orientation. Then uh, several issues are there regarding budgets, how to apportion the budgets among the conflicting demands from different types of departments. That is a big issue. Then regarding values also, values again are different. For a professional course, for a commercial course, for a just pure sciences, for applied sciences, for humanities, for languages, for literature. Again, different viewpoints are there, different values are there. So in such kind of situation, uh, again, some difficulties they are raised, such as, I will give you a simple example to make you understand this diverse stakeholder interest. So when for the first time now in our school, right from the beginning of our university, we had a school system. We had been through the process of a school system with reference to different disciplines for interdisciplinary approach. So we have School of Commerce and Management Sciences, we have School of Languages and Literature, we have School of Physical Sciences, we have School of Interdisciplinary Science, and like that. School of Social Sciences, School of Computational Sciences, School of Mathematical Sciences, and like that. So when CBCS system was adopted, with credit system when we adopted, and then credit transfers we were planning. So number of such kind of difficulties we encountered. There was not much apprehension against credit system. Very few schools and very few teachers and very few students initially they accepted such kind of intra-school as well as inter-school credits transfers, because a number of issues were there in communication. Number of issues were there regarding our School of Commerce and Management Sciences. We tried to identify which courses can be offered for the other schools, because simultaneously uh, a class was being conducted for all the students from different schools, such as maybe in case School of Languages and Literature is there. Under that, Department of French and Department of Spanish, Spanish language, it was there. So for them, it was easy to conduct the French classes for students from all schools together. So, say if weekly, maybe on Saturday in the afternoon session, a slot was fixed 2 to 5. Every Saturday, a slot was fixed for conducting French classes in the School of Languages and Literature for all the students from other 14, 15 campus schools in our Gyantirth campus. It was decided. But when we wanted to deliver a course of managerial communication to the other students, and our own students also, they were required to sit along with the students from other schools, then again we have to make several decisions and several adjustments and several activities we had to organize, because the requirement of our own students for our own courses were different, and requirement for other students, it was at a different level. And other classes in the other weekdays we were conducting independently for our own students, and only on Saturdays we used to have combined classes. Then again, uh, contacting the teachers from respective school for indicating, say, some of my students wanted to learn Java from School of Computational Sciences. Some of my students, they wanted to learn uh, some about maybe journalism from School of Media. So going to the just getting the information on the website, again contacting the concerned teachers, and time which would be agreeable for everyone. For teachers, apprehensions were there, several difficulties were there, and because of that, it took several just hours for being adjusted. For few semesters we have to make trials, and then slowly it was accepted for all the schools. Then again making uh, some variation was there regarding some schools, they were having 2 credit courses, some schools they were having 4 credit courses. Slots were different, 1 credit course also was there. Some courses they were having no credits. So such diversity was there. So what to do with that? Then again, scheme of marking internal credits and external credits, that system also was different. So we developed a just common guidelines for the intra-school credit transfers and inter-school credit transfers. We made several guidelines, but anyhow, the guideline, they had to be revised few times until we became comfortable with that. So this is how change management, it is not easy. A meticulous kind of planning is required. Different kinds of stakeholders, they are required to be in the committee. They have to interact with one another, and then only uh, the initial apprehensions, difficulties, confusions, they can be eliminated, and change is streamlined and accepted by all the stakeholders. Then again, as we understand, uh, different schools, different, then whatever I suggested for our Dantir campus, we had a sub-center at Latur, at Parbhani. Then again, making a coordination with them, it was again not easy. Uh, some facilities were available in the main campus, in the sub campus. These facilities, they were not available, but still then syllabus, it was required to be the same. The examination system, again, it was uniform for all these. So in this way, managing transformation, it is not easy. We observe that in case of NEP 2020 also. Several confusions were there in our minds, not only for students, for us teachers also. And because of that, what the Ministry of Education did systematically, they carried on several initiatives in the before launch kind of period. Niti Ayog, uh, along with several NGOs like Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal, they conducted several webinars because when NEP 2020 was launched, it was a COVID period. So regarding that COVID period, it face-to-face interaction, it was not at all possible. So number of webinars, they were carried on by Niti Ayog successively for the sake of creating awareness about the several themes of NEP 2020. Then several coordinators, they were adopted at district level, at regional level, at institutional level, and some plan was fixed for the sake of creating awareness about the features of NEP 2020. It carried on for a period of 3 to 6 months. Then in every webinar, compulsorily feedback of each and every participant, it was collected, it was recorded, and on the basis of that, again, some decisions were taken for the sake of how to implement NEP 2020 on that. Several meaningful suggestions, they were invited. Several difficulties, again, they were identified through teachers. And then first uh, category of the webinars, it was only for the sake of awareness. Second set of webinars, it was conducted for the sake of identifying implementation difficulties for NEP 2020. And accordingly, this is how for every coordinator of that webinar was required to submit a detailed report on the feedback and interactions of all the teacher participants. And this is how, through then again, some initiatives were conducted by the government, for by the ministry, by conducting some uh, uh, workshops for the sake of the students. Students learning in 10th and 12th, for them, several workshops were conducted for telling them about the new pattern of the education after 10th and after 12th. So they would know before seeking the admission, it would be it was clear for them regarding what is the system, that this is a 4 year kind of honors program. First 3 years they may be required, so they may be required for the sake of seeking a degree. In case they wanted research degree, then that graduation used to would be taking 4 years. In case they are getting only education for a year after their 12th, and they want to take a break because of some problem, then they would be having a certificate in their hand. After and again, uh, uh, after taking a break for 1 year or 2 years, again they want to rejoin, then directly with their certificate they can seek admission for the second year. I mean, such kind of entry and exit system, multiple entry and multiple exits, such kind of research degree, honors, and all that. So that kind of knowledge, it was provided them so as to avoid any apprehension, any fear for them. So very systematically, NEP 2020 was planned to be implemented. And because of that, nowadays we are somewhat just comfortable now with this NEP 2020. But before that, diverse, because again, workload problems they were raised. Then previously internship was there only for few professional programs. Now internship is made compulsory for all the graduation and post graduation kind of programs. So how to identify the offices and the establishments for delivering internships, how to enter into MOU with them. So number of issues were raised, and because of that, the transformation was not easy. So this is how the issue of diverse stakeholder interest, it has to be considered. Then lack of employee engagement. So involvement of everyone in the change process right from the beginning, it is required so as to foster a sense of ownership. So while talking about difficulties simultaneously, we are trying to just get an understanding regarding what kind of action plan is required so as to overcome these difficulties. Financial constraints are there. Financial pressure supposed to be a significant kind of barrier for change in higher education. Limited budget is there, limited resources are there, and heavy reliance is there on government funding. So naturally, many higher education institutions, they are risk averse. They are hesitant to invest in new initiatives without guaranteed returns. And because of that, change can be prompted by strong data. Uh, and some kind of information and statistic that has to be worked upon, and then only with that, with proper planning, financial constraints, they can be removed, and we can be able to overcome such kind of barrier and introduce change. Then some technology limitations are there because systems are outdated, infrastructure is not adequate, new technologies, they are not very much welcome for the stakeholders to learn and to accept. And because of that, such kind of technological limitations also many times they are raised. Computerization, simple case, in interior areas, electrification that is not very proper. Number of issues are there regarding power failures, power breakdowns, and all that. Load shedding is there. So although you adopted technology, but execution, it is not very easy. And again, whatever efforts and resources are required for updation, for keeping it state of the art technology being very much convenient, so that is not very comfortable. And with that, higher education institutes, they fear damage to their reputation in case they accept change and they are not comfortable with the change kind of system. Then they fear that whatever reputation I have built as a brand, that may be at stake. Then there is a possibility of loss of talent also. In case people, they are not comfortable with change, they may leave the institute, and for institute it would be a heavy loss. So from that angle also, number of times several limitations they are observed in bringing about such kind of change. Sometimes it is observed that proper planning that is not done. Inadequate planning is inadequate. Sometimes there is a lack of a proper roadmap, a clear roadmap that is not developed. Sometimes resources they are found to be insufficient. Sometimes it is observed that timelines which were given, they were unrealistic. If you remember, when for the first time in 21, NEP 2020 was adopted for the undergraduate program, then same difficulty was observed, because how many chances they would be given for the failed students, to what to do about ATKT. So number of issues were there, number of just unrest was there among the students, that never they would be able to regain their degree and all that, the previous status and all that. So that was a big issue. All the universities, they faced that issue. Several controversies were there, several decisions were taken. Later on, those decisions were reversed and like that. So on the basis of that example, you will understand what are the issues regarding damage to reputation and loss of talent. Because the system, in case it is not competent to accept the change, then other institute they would be successfully implementing the change, and these institutions they may not be able to do that. So their reputation would be lost. And higher education institute, it takes several years to build the reputation, to develop a brand. Number of years and consistent efforts are required. But with a single attempt, it might be just destroyed. So before accepting the change, before just accepting the transformation, a care has to be taken regarding all these, and proper planning is required for that. Otherwise, the brand image, it would be at stake. Sometimes it is found that changes they are not in line with the overall strategic goals of the organization, and because of that there is confusion. People they are indecisive, people they are inactive, they may not take the lead, they may not just participate because they are confused and they don't understand what is happening. So proper planning, this can be avoided. Then number of times it is observed that commitments of leadership support also, that was not very handy for some institutes. Strong leadership, it was not available. What Whenever you want to implement the change, commitment is there. A strong commitment and dedication is required. Continued and consistent guidance is required. Counseling is required. Mentoring is required. So this is how lack of strong leadership support, that may be a big hurdle. Then there is a change fatigue. Like there are continuous some changes they are taking place, but no recognition is there, no proper support is there, no proper understanding is just not being felt by the stakeholders. So because of that, they may feel burnout, they may resist such kind of changes. So decision maker, they have to consider this change fatigue, and time to time they have to keep there's all the change uh, agents motivated and inspired, and then only these difficulties in the face of transformation they would be eliminated. With that, we are coming to the last point regarding this change, facilitation of change in higher education. Definitely, it starts with leadership. As already I told you, all these aspects of strategies for facilitation of changes we had covered with reference to barriers. While understanding the barriers, we have talked about uh, how these barriers they can be overcome. Strong leadership can do a lot. Leaders with their dedication, with their commitment, with their strong support, with their strong inspirational skills, definitely they can really do wonders. Number of examples are there of leadership making this change very much acceptable and very much welcome in an institute. Then no option for open communication. Communication at different levels for creating awareness, as well as for making training for the sake of proper support, it is required. Through leadership, we mean empowerment, we mean collaboration, we mean ownership with passion as well as belief. uh, Transparency is required so as to build trust and so as to seek loyalty in a particular kind of institution. You have to earn trust through being frank. Your people, they have to believe in the vision, they have to believe in the person who is promoting the vision. He or she is required to be honest. He or she has to admit in case there are some failures, in case there are some mistakes, but that should not adversely impact the morale of the team members. So this is how leadership and communication, these two issues, they are clubbed together. Proper leadership is required and proper communication is required for the sake of making people aware regarding what they are doing. Is it right or wrong? That has to be, how that can be made better. Leaders, they have to develop a clear vision. They have to on their own, they have to believe in that, then only they can motivate others to strive to achieve it and motivate them. So they have to live the vision, they have to live the vision and the values consistently and continuously. So leaders also, they have to display the values, they have to communicate the values frequently. They have to be present amongst the people, they have to listen people, they have to invite their views, they have to invite their opinions, they have to solve their queries through proper communication platform. They are required to be human. They should not hide in the office, or they should not be behind a hierarchy. Otherwise, that would be in the way of creating the trust. Then they have to engage the stakeholders early. Before the beginning, they have to engage the stakeholders, and often continuously they have to engage the stakeholders, which is very much crucial for overcoming the difficulties and the efforts. So this is how you had to start with the end in the mind. You had to support the stakeholders before, during, as well as after the this change process. You had to foster a culture of continuous improvement. You had to provide adequate training as well as support. You had to carry on several workshops for all the categories of the employees of the team members, so as to understand the barriers to collaboration. You had to develop the solutions. You had to carry on workshops for the sake of seeking their commitment, so as to overcome the barriers. You are required to be humble, you are required to be sincere, you are required to be human, you are required to be kind. Then only you can be able to listen to the feedback, and you have to acknowledge in case there are some shortcomings. And with such kinds of efforts, definitely you would be able to decide how you can be successful, how you are required to be successful in communicating the nature, kind, and direction of change, and accordingly see to it that it would be appreciated. And for that purpose, you will be requiring some quantification. You have to measure whatever you have been doing, whatever you had done, whatever you are required to do, and accordingly, in case there is a change in the target and in the performance, then on that basis you are required to take the appropriate corrective action. And this is how you are required to uh, facilitate change in a higher education institute. So now the session is open for your views and your opinions, your comments and additions regarding whatever ideas I put in front of you for the sake of academic leadership and change management in higher education.
किसी पार्टिसिपेंट का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं, मैंने परमिशन दी है अनम्यूट करने के लिए। Any question participant side, you can unmute themselves.
Not only questions, in case I have missed something, I wanted to bring to the notice of all, so that next time the care can be taken for including that aspect also.
मैम लीडरशिप के भी इतने एस्पेक्ट होते हैं, हमें पता चला। बहुत अच्छा बताया मैडम, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you. Agreed with whatever ideas I suggested?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall I take your leave then?
Yes. Roll number 28,
Uh,
the proposed vote of thanks.
yes, sir. UGC MMTCC teacher this refresher course, that is teacher learning outcomes and educational reform. Our today's guest lecture or the resource person is Dr. Deshpande ma'am. I'm Dr. Mukta Patil. I'm here to for the vote of thanks of her. Ma'am discussed about the topic academic leadership and change management in higher education. In this, we focused on basic leadership competencies, leadership styles, effective leadership, digital leadership, change management, and difficulties in managing transformation in higher education. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your knowledgeable and insightful communication lecture. We all got benefited by your lecture. You make all of us to plunge into the ocean of academic leadership, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.